Alright guys, so today I'm making a video I probably shouldn't be. This is a ranking of US presidents. Not all presidents. In fact, we are only going to stop at... I think we will be stopping at JFK. JFK or LBJ, I think is when we'll stop. Definitely will not go past Ford. Not going past Ford. That is too modern. And we don't really... We are starting to feel the long-term effects of these four administrations and, well, Clinton. Bush, the second Bush, we can probably argue that we are also starting to really feel long-term effects. These two, though, I'm avoiding. Alright. There are going to be controversial opinions picked here. Or, well, some people may think them controversial, but to me they are not. But, and I do have... I have a list right here because I do not know their names based off of their pictures. Some of these presidents did not really do too much during their presidency, so I'm gonna have to look them up to be sure I know what I'm talking about. Alright, we're gonna start off with good old George Washington. You know, there's a part of me that vibes with an S, and I can understand why some people would. But the man owned slaves. And he didn't free them until after he died. But he did have numerous accomplishments under him. Ooh. I just can't get over the fact that this man fought for a country in which you are supposed to believe in all men are created equal, and yet you own slaves. I have to put him at B. Slave owners, I kind of want to put them down here at the F tier. But I cannot ignore the accomplishments that he did provide in his life, and the fact that he did step down from power in a time when you really didn't step down from power. Alright, good old John Adams. John Adams. This man, president until 1801. Let's see, did he own slaves? If he owned slaves, he's going down. Slavery, what were his views? Alright, straight up to A. He was adamant against slavery. Yeah, he advocated for the abolishment of slavery in the Massachusetts Constitution. But I think him being a founding father, integral to the founding of the country, and the fact that he was against slavery, that's going to put him at A for me. Oh, Thomas Jefferson. He's a hypocrite. There's no other way to put it. He's a fucking hypocrite. You know, hypocrites go down at F. You cannot say that you are for all men created equal when you yourself own black men as property. No. Get out of here, man. Alright, James Madison, another founding father, was in power during the War of 1812. Co-wrote the Federalist Papers. Ooh, he was a slaver too, wasn't he? He was a slaver, wasn't he? Let's see what his views were. Honestly, the L... Yep. If I'm putting Jefferson at F, Madison's got to go down there too. But I mean, So if we look at it in comparison to the presidents, this isn't necessarily a this is my opinion on where they rank relative to one another. That makes sense. So like, God, that mic doesn't want to stay up. In relativity, Jefferson is probably a D. Well, no, he raped, so he's an F. Yeah, I can't get over that rape. No. All right. Number 5, James Monroe. Ooh, he's kind of lesser known. I don't really know too much. Oh yeah, Monroe Doctrine, of course. Duh. Okay. Well, he was in a planter family. But that Monroe Doctrine. Let's see. Big time slave owner. I think in relativity, I'm gonna have to do that. He wrote the Constitution. I can't ignore that. John Quincy freaking Adams. All right. What did he do? Where is his thoughts on slavery? Let's see. Let's get an overview of what this man did. He was strongly against slavery. John Quincy Adams, my good man. Strongly against slavery, and he was anti-war. He viewed the Mexican-American War as a war purely to extend slavery. John Quincy Adams, you are jumping straight up to... Let's see, did you do anything else, though, in your reign aside from that? He furthered the Monroe Doctrine. He caused the split of the... He caused the Republicans and Democrats to become two separate parties. I think... I mean, his presidency wasn't really marred by too much. Yeah. He was an average president, but because of his beliefs, I'm putting him here. This is this is a very opinionated view on the presidents. This isn't a cohesive list on their sole accomplishments. I'm also weighing in their traits as a human being, as I feel that is very, very important. Andrew fucking Jackson. I think we all know why. Trail of Tears. I think during his presidency there was I think it was 1838. Because of him, fucking, economic issues. No, I cannot. Genocide, that kind of puts you at the F tier. I think he was a racist. I think he also owned slaves. He owned slaves too, right? Yeah, he was a pro-slave man. Get out of here. All right, Martin Van Buren, another man I don't know too much about. He's a Democrat, so that might mean during this time period he was from the South. Could also lead potential support of slavery. Ooh. He continued the Indian Removal Act. Oh boy. I think he might be the first C tier. He was the first actually born in America president. He was anti-slavery. I'm gonna put him right there at C. He didn't really do much more than that. He did continue Jackson's Indian Removal Act during his presidency, but later in life he kind of redeemed himself. I don't know if you can really redeem yourself by removing a people from their own homes, but he did become anti-slavery in his life. So I've got to reward him on that. This man, William Henry Harrison. I don't know much about him. Typhoid. Oh yeah, he was the short one, right? You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and give him the benefit of the doubt and put him at C tier. He didn't do anything, but it doesn't look like he was too bad of a man. He didn't really do anything important. Is that supposed to be John Tyler? Yeah. Okay, John Tyler. Professor. Let's see, states' rights. Ooh, Virginia family, I think I know where this is going. He was a slave or pro-slave person, wasn't he? Yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and put him at D tier. No, he didn't really do anything good in his career either. The only thing of note that he did, I guess, was making progress in trying to get Texas into the Union. But again, that is furthering slavery at this time period, so... James K. Polk, what did you do, mister? I know very little about the 1800s. Alright, so he saw the annexation of Texas, Oregon, and the Mexican cession, which would include California. Every goal he had set, he met. Ooh, he caused peace. He created peace with Britain instead of prolonging it into a war. He was a slaveholder, so we're gonna have to rank him lowly for that. James K. Polk, you are... I don't want to put him at F again, because we have Washington, who was a slaveholder. I want to put him at Jefferson, because Jefferson raped a woman. I think we're going to put him at C because of those territorial acquisitions and avoiding war with Britain, which at this time period would have probably economically, if not completely, ruined the United States at this time. So we're going to put him at C. Now, Zachary Taylor. Mr. Zachary Taylor. He did not want to push for the extension of slavery despite being a slaveholder himself. It looks like he wanted to contain slavery to the states that it was already in. We are just going to put him at average because he died early in his presidency. Millard Fillmore declared slavery an evil, but beyond the powers of the federal government. Oh no, he supported the fucking Fugitive Slave Act? Dude, come on, man. You're doing good by being anti-slavery. I'm gonna have to put him down D tier because of that. The Slave Act, man. But he's gonna be above Jefferson. Alright, Franklin Pierce. Ooh. Let's see. Northerner, okay. But he was pro-slavery. Kansas Nebraska Act. Yeah, no, sir, you're going straight to F. I wouldn't say you're as bad as a genocidal maniac and a man who kind of caused a recession, but I'll put you there. You're not a D tier. James Buchanan. James Buchanan. All right. He was awful. He furthered the disunity that was booming in the country at this time. Yeah, no, he didn't. It looks like he was probably pro-slavery as he was a Democrat during this time. So but yeah, no, he didn't do anything to try and prevent secessionist movement. So he's going down at F tier because the Civil War was so bloody. Abe fucking Lincoln. Man preserved the Union. And while he does have his own issues, as do all people do, while he may not have been a man for equal rights for Black Americans, he did push through the abolition of slavery with the 13th Amendment, and previously to that, he did abolish slavery in the states that had seceded. So, and also overseeing the country during probably its toughest time in history, aside from maybe World War II and the Revolution. But I think the Civil War was probably a greater threat to the country than any of those others. Because one, in the Revolution, we weren't even a country yet, and in World War II, I don't think there was ever a chance that Germany or Japan could really threaten American shores because of our Navy and Air Force. So, I think Abe Lincoln is a solid S tier. Andrew Johnson. National Union, a new party. Quick restoration. No protection for former slaves. He was the first president, it looks like, impeached. And barely survived. Wow. He barely survived that vote. He purchased Alaska. Okay, it looks like he was definitely against equality. Yeah, so we're just going to put him at D tier. Ulysses S. Grant, a man that actually freed his slave instead of selling him. Which to me, that speaks a lot to probably his character. Because what he could have done was he could have easily sold that slave for a profit equivalent to roughly, probably could have earned over 100,000 US dollars in the value of modern money. He was a good general. He did appoint African Americans and Jewish Americans to federal offices. He was very peaceful. But he did have rampant corruption. Ooh, he had a panic of 1873. But we're going to give him a B tier. Because of the other things that he accomplished in life. Rutherford Ford B. Hayes. Alright. Ended Reconstruction, let the South govern themselves, okay. Withdrew troops from the South. Alright. Equal treatment without regard to wealth, social standing, or race, okay. So he wasn't a racist piece of shit. Civil service. Dude, I'm starting to like this guy. No, because of the quality of his character, I'm gonna jump him straight up to A. Rutherford B. Hayes, not a racist. Did what he could to extend civil service. Yeah, no, that's a good guy. That's a good guy. To me, I feel like the presidency is not... In terms of how it was created, the presidency is meant to just be like, I guess, the nation's biggest diplomat, the face of the country. He isn't necessarily meant to have that much power. There is power in the presidency, but he is not meant to have too much power. Like, for example, the presidents that we have down here, past Ford, have way too much power in comparison to the presidents that we've listed already. Lincoln saw a big extension of the executive branch's power, but we really saw it with FDR extending it even further. Yeah. All right, James A. Garfield. I think this was a mediocre president. He was assassinated early on. Yeah. He was pro civil service reforms. civil rights for African Americans. Oh, look at that. All right. Ooh, he purged corruption. All right, I'm jumping him straight up to top of B tier. George Washington being under Garfield. Oh, that's going to piss so many people off. Okay. Chester A. Arthur. I really don't know anything about this man. Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act. Barred Chinese people coming in. He was below average, it looks like. I'm gonna put him at D. Didn't do anything. Grover Cleveland. Boy, a Democrat. Woman strike. Okay, looks like he was against unions from that understanding. Gold standard. They have him as a higher tier. But what did he do? What did he do? Or is his civil rights views? Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't know. It's not. Doesn't look too good. It looks kind of racist. All right, Benjamin Harrison. Oh, they have Grover Cleveland twice. Get up there twice, Grover. Your second term is equal to your first, in my opinion. Benjamin Harrison. He was a union supporter. He was a high Fed spender. He was very, he didn't really do anything. Oh. Ooh. Look at that. He was not a racist. Seemingly. He did want to get voting rights for African Americans, but he failed at them. But because of his attempt, we're going to put him at the top of C tier. William McKinley. Alright, Spanish-American War. Okay, that's immediately dropping him down in my opinion, because that was an unjustified war. Economic growth. Okay, that's good. He didn't do too much, though. So we're going to put him at C tier as well. Teddy fucking Roosevelt. All right, here we go. Speak softly and carry a big stick. Teddy Roosevelt. Very, very great for parks. Panama Canal, which is kind of a negative because that was a war. Kind of was this one of the things that could be viewed as a start to American intervention in South America and Middle America. But he was antitrust, or he was a trust buster in terms of that he felt that some trusts were good, but some monopolies did need to be disbanded. I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna put him there at A because of I don't like that whole American intervention in South America. It's caused too many issues. So we're gonna put him at top of A tier. His successor, William Howard Taft. I don't have good opinions of Taft. I don't think he was too good. He was very antitrust. He was like, he wanted to break up any monopoly. But he wanted to. Ooh, yep. He was very interventionist. All right, that immediately puts you down here. Interventionism is a shitty policy, and it only creates more enemies. This man here. Woodrow fucking Wilson. You're gonna be a D tier because he was a racist piece of shit as well. He was very racist. He furthered interventionism, the idea of it. So he's going to be at D tier. But I think under his presidency, the women were given the right to vote. So I will commend him on that, even though I don't think he necessarily supported it. Warren G. Harding. I don't know much about him, so let's look him up. Teapot Dome. Oh, all right. All right. Calvin Coolidge, another man I don't know too much about. Not too well, he was popular. He was a supporter of racial equality. That bumps him up in my opinion. We're going to put him at the bottom of B tier because in terms of we're looking at this there when my opinion comes into it is my opinion like don't be racist. And then also your accomplishments have to like balance out of why George Washington was probably racist because he owned slaves, but the rest of his accomplishments I have to acknowledge, and that's why he's up. All right, Herbert Hoover. I think he got the short end of the stick. I don't believe that the Great Depression was his fault. Yeah, I think I'm just going to list him as an average president. I don't think he really did too much. Didn't really do many things to really even alleviate it. I think he was very laissez-faire from my understanding. I have it. FDR. He led the country in a dark time, but I have issues with a lot of his policies, and a lot of his policies I feel like wasted too much money and ultimately have been harmful. Yeah, I'm just going to put him at B tier. I don't think he deserves A. Which is probably pretty... Truman Doctrine. Berlin Airlift. I'm going to go ahead and actually bump him above his predecessor. I'm going to put him at the middle of B tier. Because I don't think he was a bad man. I think he had a good heart. I think he was just unfortunate in times. Dwight D. fucking Eisenhower. Let's see, as long as it doesn't say he was racist, I think he's probably going to be bumped up to A tier. He was very anti-isolationist. Interstate highway, national education. He was against massive military spending. All right, you're going up here. Eisenhower, you're an A tier. All right, JFK. Where do I want to put you? John F. Kennedy? I think I'm going to put him at the bottom of A tier because he was a very likable man. I am very curious as to what would have happened had he not been assassinated. His successor, LBJ, we're just going to... Did some good things. 1964 Quality Act. We're going to put him there. Nixon. Watergate. Puts him at D tier. But he was actually one of the early advocates for universal health care. So, in my opinion, I think that's kind of a necessity. Cheaper than spending so much money on the military. And that's where I'm going to stop with Nixon. I think this is a pretty good list. It's fairly balanced out. No thing is overtaking another. And it's good to see that it looks like, in my opinion, that the average of American presidents are C tier and above. It means we've done all right. We've done okay. Yeah, I think that would be my list. I think some of these would change if we were to solely go off of what they sought to do in their presidencies and if they accomplished their goals, then I think this list would change dramatically, because certainly some of the presidents down here at the F tier did do exactly what they wanted to do with their presidency, and that would technically bump them up. But in my opinion, I have to include the idea of slavery, because slavery is stupid. I think that's a good list. That's where I'm gonna stop it for today. If you have disagreements about this, please comment down below and tell me what you would change and why you would put a president either higher or lower on this list. But yeah, hit the like button if you enjoyed. Please subscribe for more, and thank you.